Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby, and today on the World of Tanks YouTube channel they released a video which showed us a garage view of the new Tier 10 mediums. Here we can see the Pattern 3, the upgraded E50 and the T62. More importantly, what they also gave us were the stats, especially the gun stats and hints at other stats of these tanks. So here I'm displaying them for you, a collated version of all the pictures that they showed. So firstly, let's take a look at the Pattern 3, the M48A1. Now we don't have the HP pools for any of these tanks, but we have their engines. We can see that the Pattern engine is more or less the same. However, it's got significantly less chance to be set on fire. We don't know any of the weights of these new tanks. However, what we do know is what the track support weight will be. Interestingly, the track support weight for the E50 and the T54 has not gone up at all. However, for the Pattern, for the M48A1, the track support weight has gone up by 5 tons. Does this mean that the Pattern 3 is going to be heavier? Probably. And considering that the engine currently is 10 horsepower less, this probably means that the Pattern 3 might be a lot more sluggish. We don't know what its top speed is going to be yet, and we don't know what its hull, front, side and rear armour will be. However, what we do know is about its turret. Looking down now on the lower part of the chart, looking at the turret traverse for the M48A1, we can see that it's 3 degrees a second higher, and also that its view ranges remain the same and its radios remain the same. We can see that its turret is slightly different to the Pattern 3. It's got much heavier armour at the front. Its side armour is the same, whereas its rear armour is slightly weaker. Now for the very interesting stuff. Look at the rate of fire increase on that 105mm gun. It's gone up to 7.5, yet the alpha damage has remained the same. This means that its DPS has gone up by 5, meaning that it's roughly about a 12% damage increase over the Pattern, which is huge. And then many of you will remember in my last video about the Tier 10 tanks, I said that the medium tanks, I didn't think their penetration would go up. However, with the current stats, look how wrong I was. The Pattern 3, the M48A1, its penetration with credit ammo has gone up by 50, and its gold penetration has gone up by 85. That's simply huge. I'll talk more about the implications that all of this has later on. We don't have any of the accuracies or the aim times for these new guns. So swiftly moving on to discuss the E50 and the E50 Alps M. We don't know about its HP. Its engine remains the same with slightly less chance to be set on fire. Its track traverse has gone up tremendously. I'm not sure if this is going to be the same at release. We'll see about it. Its track weight remains the same, which suggests that the vehicle will weigh the same. And we don't know anything about its hull armour. However, its turret traverse is the same, its view range is more or less the same, with the radio more or lless the same. Its turret front armour has gone up significantly, and its side and rear armour has gone up by a fair margin. It's now got 185mm of armour frontally on its turret. Its rate of fire has gone up ever so slightly for a marginal increase, but its penetration has gone up by 50 mils. 50mm of extra penetration. I'll talk again about this towards the end, and its gold penetration for those who fire gold is up to 350 now. So to highlight the T62A, its engine has improved tremendously, both with respect to its horsepower and also to its resistance to fire. What this means is this equates to about actually an extra half of its engine power. I'm not sure if this is going to be the way that it will be. I'm not sure if this is going to be the final stats of its engine. However it is, if it is, then this T62A will be horrendously quick. Its track traverse has also gone up, while its track weight has remained the same, suggesting that this tank will remain fairly similar with its weight ratio. Now looking at its turret stats, we can see that its turret traverse has gone up by 3 degrees a second. It's got slightly more view range and a significantly better radio. Its turret frontal armor has gone up by quite a lot, while its side and rear armor remains fairly similar. This means that the T62A will have a fantastic turret. And here we go, now looking at its gun, the rate of fire has gone up tremendously, while its alpha damage has remained the same, which now means that its DPS or DPM, whatever you want to call it, will be similar to the Pattern 3, the M48A1. Now its penetration is not as high as the other two tanks, however it's still significantly improved up to 264mm, and this should be enough to penetrate any armor in the game frontally. So firstly, a disclaimer, what I'm about to say is based on the current stats and what we know. I don't think this is a good change for the penetration values. All the penetration of these tanks is now up to between 260 and 270mm. What that means is that these tanks will be able to penetrate any heavy tank frontally when they know where to aim. I don't see any benefit now to having a heavy tank over a medium tank apart from the slightly increased armor that you have. However, now that the armor, apart from at very long ranges, is going to be more or less useless, I don't see a reason to drive a heavy tank over a medium tank, again, based on these stats that we have. So I don't think these are going to be the final stats that we see when they go to public test, however, I could be wrong. I'm saying that more or less because I believe that these tanks will not be balanced very well if they're put into the game as they are and other tanks remain the same. And also they're not balanced amongst themselves. I think that the M48A1 is about what I expected to see as for the Pattern 3. I thought that it would be a bit slower because it would be a bit heavier, and that is correct. It's got slightly better turret, and it's got slightly better track traverse, and its gun has gone up by about the range that I thought it would. However, its penetration is much better than I thought it would be. The E50 has barely changed apart from its maneuverability and its penetration, of course. However, its DPS or DPM, whatever you want to call it, has not gone up in the same line as what the Pattern has gone up. I think that probably they will increase the 50 rate of fire to about 6.5 or 6.75. I think that's about the balanced mark. Looking at the T62, its engine is too powerful. This thing is going to be ridiculously mobile, and I think that they will change this. I think the engine might go down to somewhere in the region of maybe 800 or stay the same as what the T54 is at the moment, considering it is a very mobile tier 9, and with the track traverse increase. But however, because I don't think the weight of the T54 is going to increase when it becomes the T62, if it does get the engine that they're stating currently, then its DPM needs to be reduced significantly by at least 10%. Otherwise, it is just going to be all round much better than the Pattern. The only reason why someone would argue to drive the Pattern over the T54 would be the increased DPM, the view range, and the slightly better gun depression. However, if you give the T62A the same DPM as the M48A1, then I don't think with its extra armor and its maneuverability that it's going to be worth driving the M48A1 over the T62A. So, just quickly to conclude, we have 260 to 270 pen, increased DPM, increased maneuverability, and increased turret armor. What I also think that we're going to see is a nerf to the T62 engine or its DPM, a possible buff to the E50 DPM, and also that the Pattern 3 engine might receive a possible buff, or that its weight will not increase as its track load is suggesting. So guys, this has just been a quick update to get everyone up to speed, but what do you think? Do you think if the stats remain the same on these medium tanks that the heavies will be useless? And do you think that if the stats do remain the same that the T54 upgrade, the T62, is going to be completely ridiculous and possibly the best tank tier for tier in the game? So thanks a lot for watching my video, guys. This was a quick one to allow my subscribers to be up to date with the new tier 10 medium stats. I hope you've enjoyed it. If it's been useful, please give it a like at the bottom. And if this is one of your first times watching the video or you're interested in my content, then please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot guys, and good luck on the battlefield, and please discuss below what you think about these changes.